Alright, so let's talk about the Nether Web. Um, from the schematic alone, you guys should obviously be seeing why we needed so much ice and why I was so eager to build that ice farm in that episode. This is obviously a callback to the s'more, we need s'more ice pun. It was one of my favorite titles of all time. You can hear the monkey loves it too. Um, but no, I think in just the spawn intersection alone, how much ice does it say that we need? Yeah, 14,851. And this is just the intersection. Every single tunnel expanding outwards is going to have ice this thick over it. Is it necessary? No. Do we want it? Absolutely. Why? Because it's spawn proof, looks really nice to look through, and boats go 40 meters per second on it. Why would you need any more reason? That's actually part of the Nether Web. So hopefully you don't hear my mom in the background. So we have these large tunnels for the main tunnels to get around. The idea for the Nether Web is a complex system of tunnels, a picture on the screen now of what Nuke here has put up, and this is kind of the idea of where everything is. I'm in spawn right now. This is the original spawn tunnel. There's a hole up here where we will bust through the bedrock and be able to get to anywhere we want and then fly back in if you already know the route. However, the tunnels here should be long enough for you to get through. I know this isn't much to look at, it's going to be a while before these are built, but the larger tunnels are here with I believe a 20 block either radius or diameter, and that'll be able to give you plenty of room to just soar through with an elytra. In fact, let me hop into game mode 0 and demonstrate exactly that. I'm going to appear as invisible, but that's okay. So we'll just be able to fly around, go straight through the tunnels, in and out, I mean without any problem. Let's just kind of dip in and out through the already partially built tunnels. You can see without the schematic, there's quite a lot here, but not everything. Now, this is going to be a massive project, and it's going to be a really great way of getting around. So let's focus a little bit more on the details. I don't know everything, and I'm hoping that Nuke can interrupt me if I get anything wrong here, but the idea is the complex system of wiring down here kind of makes it so that I don't understand most of this, I'm not even gonna lie, but makes it so that you can get around based on a button press or something. And the piston bolt will actually kind of change itself to send you exactly where you need to go based on where you're going. This way, when you go to spawn all the way over here to the witch huts, you can select a different panel and it'll bring you either back this way or a different direction over here to the end. That way you don't have to go all the way back to the Nether hub and then take a different route all the way out to the end. Surely some of you have seen systems like this, and we thought it was inefficient. Not that that's the worst way to get around. It's a really nice organized way to do it, but it's not the fastest. So we came up with a system, mostly Rubik's and Nuke, to have a web of tunnels that allow you to get anywhere from any point. And I think it's pretty cool. Um, and we also have a lot of modes of transportation. Obviously, I mentioned the elytras and the boats already. So you get the 40 meters per second boats, which is a bug. That's gonna be changed at some point in the game, I'm sure. But it is still ice and spawn proof and pretty, so I don't see that as a loss. We've also got piston bolts, which should theoretically work forever because the hitbox of the minecart kind of turns sideways when it lands on one of these rails. So it should always be hanging off the block, being able to be affected by the piston and push forward onto the next rail. That shouldn't ever change because it's kind of a fundamental part of kind of just how minecarts are. But if that ever breaks, I mean, we've still got Elytra Flight, and I'm pretty sure the rockets aren't a bug, seeing as a developer spent quite a few days making that happen, I assume. So, there you go. We got three main forms of transportation to get around to these tunnels, two ways to take elytras, and I guess you could always sprint if all hell breaks loose, making this a very, very versatile and dynamic system for actually traveling through all the different areas in the world. I mean, we've already taken precautions of getting around, such as the octagon centered here in the spawn portal actually has, you know, the north perimeter portal here, and then the other ones are actually in kind of the same area. So we won't have to make too many tunnels for everything, and that made most of our overworld tunnels in the same spot over here, and the Guardian Farm portal is actually the same one as spawn. This is Guardian Farm, this one is spawn. Meaning that all of our overworld locations for our portals were actually in three main locations that I can mainly say. We got spawn, the Guardian Farm, all of the overworld mob farms, and then the entrance to the end. Otherwise, we've got the Ice Farm, Ice Spikes, which is off in that direction, and then little stuff like that, and then those two portals are just not as important locations. And that's a pretty cool system, and this is what we're here to build today. The shulker box outside of spawn was entirely full of elytras, and it's been completely looted. I mean, there's like 18 left, 3 are repaired. I mean, have we really accepted, 15 new members in the past week or so? I don't think so. I never showed this on camera. I was going to one day, but then I didn't. Oh my god. So the end rod on my head actually emits light, so everywhere I go with this Optifine thing enabled, it lights it up. So, Silk Cords, who actually, I think it was Silk Cords, somebody actually spruced up the tunnel to this area to make it fit in the whole fancy quartz theme. And I think it's really pretty. Obviously, I'm here to repair this these mending things, but as of recording this video, the day before, or as of recording this clip, the day before I had just recorded this video, where I talked about, I was only on, well, I mentioned at the beginning that I was only on two, uh, 2 hours of sleep that whole day. So last night I slept around 9, 10 o'clock and then woke up at 7. And I got a ton of sleep. I felt great today. And it was one of the worst school days I've ever had. It turns out when you're actually conscious and aware in class, it's like you have to actually be there while paying attention. It's just, oh my god. If you've ever slept through a lecture, oh my god, try being awake and alert for it. You can't put your head down. You can't escape in any way. You just have to be there the whole time. It's the worst thing I've ever had to go through. I wouldn't wish upon, So, from now on, my game plan is to just, not do that anymore. It's actually about 8 or 9 o'clock as of recording this, and I was going to record this tomorrow once I saw the time, but then I realized, wait, I should hold off on that because, oh man, sometimes it's just better to fall asleep, have that kind of option. Plus, school's a little bit more bearable for me when I'm on autopilot. I know that a lot of the guys who watch and girls who watch this channel are probably in high school, so I know that a lot of you can relate to what I'm saying here and hopefully take some tips away. Alright, so today I'm joined by Daniel and Nuke. This is completely interrupting the Nether Web episode that I was just recording, and here's kind of why. So here is all of the files on our 6 gigabyte test server. Craft Bucket has this beautiful thing. Oh, good, you can expand file names so you can see everything. Okay. So Craft Bucket does this. They'll take a world like Nether Web, and then they split it into netherweb underscore nether underscore the end, or underscore the end, the underscore the end. And that's how it keeps track of its overworld, nether, and end files, meaning if you select a nether file, it'll create another world for the nether. If you select this file, it creates another world for the nether. So now we've got all of these worlds, and frankly, we don't know where our nether web is. We completely lost the latest backup of our progress on the nether web, which is perfectly fitting as I'm interrupting this video because I got nothing to work on because we don't know what the hell we're working based on. So apparently Gulby did a bunch of work on that, so this is what we're going to be doing. Obviously I'm not going to... Look how bad some of this has got. Self-refueling furnace, the nether, the end, the nether. So there's a lot of complications as to exactly why there are things like this, such as Nuke tried to create a Nether Web world with the Nether Web in the Nether, and then our new fancy furnace array in the overworld. Trust me guys, that'll have its own video. I'm not even going to talk about it. But yeah, we're just going to do this and then I'll tell you how it turns out. Alright, so right now you're just looking at a wallpaper. However, I guess I could test something right now. So here's kind of what we got. So Nuke is an operator on the server who has console access to the server. So he's helping me sift through all of these worlds. He's got Nether space web, anything with that, and then I've got Nether web, all lowercase. So I'll just be doing this one at a time. What we're looking for, by the way, is if you open up the file and it doesn't have a dim -1, this is for dimension -1. The -1 is the Nether. There isn't really a dim for the overworld. Like you see the overworld file, they just have them under region, which has all the different files for all your different regions. This could be really complicated if you guys have never messed with this, so I'm sorry, but I'm not going to explain it. And so you can actually save some time, and I'm half talking to Nuke here because I haven't mentioned this before, but if you open up a file and you only see dim1, I can just, I can safely delete this. I mean, we know the Nether Web is about 30 megabytes, this isn't even 3. So I can delete this straight up, and then on the same thing on my other screen, I'll just be deleting that file. What one did I just delete? I don't know, I think it was netherweb underscore at the end. Regardless. You could actually do that on the server itself. You can just expand the file and then delete them. So he's handling those, I'm handling these. How this works is if we open up, let's see a file where it actually has the nether. Perfect. Netherweb underscore the nether underscore, just move that to Minecraft. That actually went pretty fast. Move that to saves. Drag that off my screen. Un Hugador. And we go to, is this an old file? Come on. You know what?
If you see NetherWeb, if you see the dim -1, then those are the only interesting ones.
Yeah, so this one has dim -1, but I can't actually find it on here unless I'm blind. Regardless, what we would be doing would be logging into it. None of these files should actually be older than, say, here, because if we're downloading a backup that's older than a month, then, well, we probably wouldn't care about that progress anyway, but then the idea would just be to log in and see if that's the latest version that we need. Alright, I figure I should start recording because I never did actually show what it kind of looks like when we sift through these worlds. I've gone through a few worlds here with no success. I haven't been vigilant about deleting them, to be fair, but here I've got a file that's over 30 megabytes, and it has another file. So this could be a candidate as long as Daniel is typing. Nope. So I was instructed by Nuke to know that the newer files have nether brick for their wiring, and these have wool. So, well, I mean, here's the nether web if anybody is curious, and there is a tunnel. There are 2 tunnels built. This is also emerald, and this is, oh, I get it. They're both going to the same hub. So you can kind of see here how they're interconnected, but yeah, your typing is just throwing me. But of course, because this has wool and not nether brick as the wiring, apparently this isn't all the way. So I guess I'll keep looking. So we've shifted gears. We haven't given up looking for the files, but we've hit a pretty fair stopping point where we just don't know where it is. And we're gonna work on the slime farm a bit. So I regretfully talk about this because people are just not, they don't communicate the way they should. So we were ready to build this. I mean, this is one basic module. I can show you this without at all spoiling what everything else will be, but you can see I made it a square because this glass going out on the sides only really holds back the lava. So there were things like this where I found it's just, you know, you can just do that. So this is a basic chunk for the slime farm, and then all of this back here is unnecessary. And that's why all the white glass is down there. And the part that I hate to talk about and why it angers me that it was even happened this way is we were ready to build this, we were starting, we were good. And then Oreo all of a sudden was like, no, wait, but it needs to be toggleable on and off.
No, I also agree. I think I originally mentioned that.
Everybody thinks it needs to be turned on and off, though, and they waited until we started building
agrees
it to
on
say that.
At least most people.
Most people don't agree on it, but you guys make solid points, and I'm sick of fighting about it. And here are the many, many problems with this. The only way that you can disable this without changing the entire design is water or lava. That's it. Lava would be a good idea, actually. Now that I think about it, it'd take longer. Okay, the other thing is the fact that this needs to be lit up. Nuke opted for torches, which is great, it's fine, but they're going to be washed away. So then what? Glowstone could maybe be put here instead of the glass. That could potentially light it up pretty well, but the torches need something to be on. So these 2 layers could all be glowstone or sea lanterns because they look better. That's an idea. But basically what we're going to be working on is making this spawn proof. Making it toggleable on and off. And another reason I think that this would be pretty cool is because if you can turn off every farm you build in the perimeters, then you know, somebody could AFK in the middle of it while doubling your mob cap and making the other farms significantly faster. And that's our assignment now, seeing as we gave up on the other thing. So this is a very simple mock-up of what I thought would actually work. Still not sure if this would be a bad idea, but you'd need lighting because of that. But the simple idea would be you'd retract the pistons and it would flood basically half the layer. Okay, so that was
Why don't we get
less.
rid of all the lights and just see how it goes with the sea lanterns first?
Yeah, we
Just
could.
in the middle.
Nuke and Oreo want to use dispensers to dispense the water, which also isn't bad, but I'm not sure if that will be. I'm recording this after the fact because I just sounded dead. This project had worn me down and I just didn't want to work on it. I was in a pretty bad mood because we had to. Nuke was discussing redesigning the entire thing, and what I'm showing here is the fact that we would have alternating dispensers, like alternating solid floors and half slab floors, and then it would be spaced 3 blocks, so we could still have a half slab. As I'm demonstrating here, you'd have a dispenser facing down, and then you could put the slabs around it to increase the jumping speed. And that would work. That would work great. But as it turns out, later on, Daniel ended up convincing him to use pistons. I haven't actually seen what that design looks like, but maybe I'll just keep that one under my belt, not actually look at it quick. And then I demonstrate how you'd have 2.5 blocks for every floor, but it would be alternating. This would result in having 7 out of 9 floors, which I really didn't like. But as I said, it turns out that they seem to have settled on a different design. I'm not entirely sure though. Now, I'm going to have to actually end the video here. So, I didn't really film a complete conclusion to that because this was a little bit of a mix-up between wanting to work on the Nether Web, losing the files, and not being able to work on the Nether Web, and then ended up working on the slime farm a bit. So you guys saw that we worked on that a little bit. I'm sorry about kind of how I've been recently. In fact, I explained that in the next video, the next part of this kind of, because in this next episode, I make a lot of references to the video that you guys just saw, and I explain a lot of the reasons I haven't been too active on my Nerva. And it ended up being about a 16-minute monologue, so I'll cut that up just a little bit and make it look a little bit nicer, cut out a few things, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I might start a Patreon, so you can comment that if you have any thoughts, but I'll give you all of mine in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed what I had. Better content to come. Thanks for watching.